Hey all, I was just listening to a podcast by Majid Nawaz, who I have been listening to quite a bit and reading his stuff, and I highly recommend if you're interested. He's also the person I found out about Substack from, so thank you to him for that. But I was listening to a podcast that I believe they recorded yesterday, and I'm going to stumble over these names, but I want to give credit. And the podcast is with a woman named Shabnan Palesa Mohammed. She is of the World Council for Health and Children's Health Defense, South Africa. Super fascinating interview, and I'm actually only halfway through it, but I had to stop because of something she said that was really inspiring to me and really goes along with my feelings about things, and so I wanted to share. So this is again, this podcast is called Warrior Creed, and I highly recommend it. So she said something. This is what she said: the way we take the pillars out from under the predator cartel is by becoming radically healthy. So that just was like, oh my gosh, she put that so well. And this is something that I think is so powerful and so important, particularly at this point in history. And it made me think so much about how radical health, and I loved how she used the word radical, radical health is really, this is my words now, a key to freedom and power. So if you are someone who is radically healthy, that means that you don't need to fall prey to what she calls, I really love that term, the predator cartel. Or as I'm going to call it, the culture of need. So all of these companies, individuals, government recommendations, all of these people who are trying to sell you either with money or an idea on things that you need. And this is why I call it the culture of need, because to be a consumer, you have to feel like you're in lack, and you have to feel like you need things either to survive or to make your life better or make yourself whole or make yourself acceptable, things along those lines. And so this is what's been created in our culture here, is this culture of need. And I thought about this the other day. I almost made a video, and I'm so glad that I waited. I was actually in the car and was like, should I pull over? But I was late. And I'm actually so glad, because it was so perfect for me to hear this woman's interview, and for to hear her talk about this in kind of a bigger picture way. But if we are members of this culture of need, if we buy into that mentally, emotionally, like they want us to, then we're a consumer, and we're a consumer for life if they do it in the right way, which they're very skilled at doing. So you probably already know that corporations often will research how to hook customers from very, very young. I remember learning that about McDonald's like decades ago, and about how they use colors, specific colors, to evoke certain experiences and feelings. They used obviously their characters and lots of different marketing techniques basically to hook children, and then they would be customers for life. The pharmaceutical industry does that in different ways, But basically, it's that same concept of creating people who feel they need your product or are so connected to it that they don't see themselves as separate from that. They see that as just like something they need in their life. So I feel in many ways that what's been important to me for quite a while is sort of reminding people that that's not who they are, and that you do not need to buy into this culture of need, or as she said, this predator cartel. I love it. It's so much more powerful, and it actually pins some culpability on the people who are actually purporting it, because this is a plan. This is not something that just randomly happened. These are things that have been planned and carried out for a long, long, long time. And I think a lot of that's coming to light now, which is really nice. But if we can look at that, really nice is such an understatement. But if we can look at that in terms of everything we're marketed to, it's kind of mind-boggling how much of our lives are run by this culture of need, this misunderstanding that we need all these products and services and medications and all of this kind of thing. So if you are radically healthy, that is, I believe, ultimate power and ultimate freedom, because you know that you don't need this stuff. And if you, I just have some notes I wrote about it that I'm checking. So you know, for instance, your body has natural immunity that's much superior and surpasses pharmaceutical immunity, and that's been looked at recently in recent events. But if you're eating simply, if you're eating really well, if you're taking care of your body and your mind and your spirit, and you're awake and alert to what's happening, and if you have questions about how to eat simply and well, check my last video. I'll try to remember to link it below. But if you're doing all those things and you're radically healthy, no one can touch you, because you are your own guru, and you don't need this need culture anymore. And they need you to need them to survive. They are predators, and they are parasites. And if you don't believe that you need them, and if you live your life in such a way that you don't need any of that, you are this need culture. You are this predator cartel's worst nightmare. And I love it so much, because you're someone who knows their own power, and understands they're free. You understand that you're free. You don't need them, no matter what anyone else says, and that is the end of their power over you. So thanks for listening to this. Highly recommend listening to Warrior Creed, in particular this episode. It's so empowering, and it was so clarifying for me as far as kind of what I do and what's important to me and why I do it. So there you go. Radical health, power, and freedom. Take it back.